I'm continually impressed with the caliber of guests we get on our podcast. Rand Fishkin, Steli FD, like amazing people. And if you go to our podcast, you can check out the entire list. But I'm more humbled and amazed by this piece of feedback I've gotten more than one time, which is a guest will do the show. And then during the after interview, they'll say how amazing the questions I was asking were, or how I was able to dig a level deeper. And it's not a hard thing to do. So in today's video, I want to go through how we prepare for podcast interviews and how you can do similar to ask better questions. The main thing I'm trying to avoid when it comes to podcast interview questions is I don't want to ask a top performing guest something he's heard a million times. So off the bat, questions that can go in the garbage are, how did you start your business? What was your biggest failure? Basically anything John Lee Dumas would ask on Entrepreneur on Fire. No offense to John, he has been on the podcast, we had an amazing conversation. But those basics, I always assume they're covered in other places and don't want to cover anything like that. So number one is think of common questions and then throw them out. Number two is when thinking of a question, picture the answer in your mind, and if the first word out of their mouth is a yes or a no, I throw the question out. And this is from our Tim Ferriss video. We're gonna link down in the description how he asks questions. The amount of yas or yeses that Tim Ferriss gets from his guests is almost zero compared to most other interviews because of the way he thinks through his questions before asking. And then the other piece is to look at other high-profile interviews these entrepreneurs have had. I interviewed Dr. Alex Mayer. He's one of Tai Lopez's business partners. He runs this company called MentorBox, had a top 5 dating app, like big get for the podcast. I was very humbled and happy that he found it worth his time to come on the show. So before the interview, I listened to Nathan Lotka's interview with him on The Top. Let's show a quick clip of that.
It's kind of the first time that I've actually built a business around a passion. So I've always been a book reader. You know, I'm the guy that when I go out with my friends or we go, you know, on vacations and stuff, I'm the guy with a book in the corner.
Saying, don't bug me.
Yeah, so
Nathan covered the basics. He covered the revenue. He covered why Dr. Mayer started his company. He covered everything that I would have asked him if I hadn't done the research, so I didn't have to. And I'm more than comfortable telling people if they don't like the one level deep questions that we ask on the podcast to go listen to The Top or go listen to any of these other interviews with the entrepreneurs. So that's usually all it takes to do research. Listen to one basic surface level podcast. Good surface level podcasts are The Top with Nathan Lotka. He loves to dig into the numbers and some of the backstory. Entrepreneur on Fire with John Lee Dumas. He loves to ask the basic entrepreneurial questions. And Rocketship.fm is another one where they go into the basics of the entrepreneur. If that's not enough, or there's no interviews that work for them, luckily a lot of these guests have podcasts of their own. For instance, Barry Katz has been interviewing hundreds of people on his podcast, Industry Standard. So it was enough to read his Wikipedia page and listen to a couple of these interviews in order to get a sense of who Barry Katz was.
No one actually tells you the actual truth of what they are thinking in their head, which is, look, motherfucker, I'm getting to that next level ahead of you, okay? It's me.
When I'm doing this, and it is someone like Barry Katz where they haven't been interviewed a lot, I'm looking for places where they're telling their own story or the guest is asking them questions. And usually it's enough to listen to 2 or 3 episodes to get a very good idea of who the person is. And then running through that same system of identifying what the common questions would be, and then skipping over those questions and going deeper. And the third way is finding smaller YouTubers and looking at those interviews. For instance, I just got off a podcast interview with Dan Martell, who has been interviewed on almost every large podcast. He was on Entrepreneur on Fire. He was on all of these big shows, but sometimes there's gold in finding interviews that have under 500 views. Like this one where Dan Martell goes on a rant about something the podcaster says.
Really excited to have you here because I know how precious your time is.
Dude, I just want you to know, I hate when people say that because our time, it's not about who's more valuable.
Okay.
Like literally, I appreciate it. And you can say that, but I think people need to stop saying that. I never say it. I've literally never said to a mentor of mine, I know how valuable your time is. Who cares? Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah. Watching those smaller podcasts, you see a lot of those rants because they're less experienced interviewers most of the time. So they make a lot of those rookie mistakes. You get a better idea of what the common questions are the guests might be asked, and it's easier to pivot around those. If you have your own podcast or any questions about podcasting, let me know down in the comments. Any questions on the topic of interview research? Or anything when it comes to podcasting, what are you struggling with? If you found this video valuable, please share it with a friend or two. We're trying to hit 100,000 subs and every share counts. us. Also, if you need marketing support for your digital agency, running your podcast, promoting your podcast, getting you PR, anything that's going to help you find more clients for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.